Welcome back to BD Daily Tech News Podcast, your daily briefing on tech and innovation. It's 2025, December 26th, and today's theme is Power Moves. Nvidia teams up with a chip challenger, Huawei signals a new AI chip push in Korea, and Google may finally let you fix that Gmail address you made during your XX Dragon Slayer XX era.
I feel attacked. My Gmail is not a phase, it's a lifestyle. But yes, I'm ready. Corporate chess, silicon drama, and Google finally doing a thing people asked for since the invention of email.
We'll keep it tight. 3 stories, the simple tech behind each, and what you can actually do about it as a user or developer. Let's start with the biggest eyebrow raiser. Nvidia licensing Groq's tech and hiring Groq's CEO.
This is like Coca-Cola saying, we're licensing Pepsi's bubbles, and also we hired Pepsi. Is this peace, or is this a hostage situation with better branding?
What happened? According to Reuters, Nvidia will license AI chip challenger Groq's tech and hire its CEO. That's notable because Groq has been positioned as an inference-focused alternative, and Nvidia rarely needs to borrow momentum from anyone.
So Nvidia looked at the competition and said, cute, now come live in my house. That's not a partnership, that's adopting your rival and giving them a new last name.
Simple version of the tech. Think of AI compute like a restaurant kitchen. Training is inventing the recipe. Inference is cranking out the same dish for thousands of customers. Groq's brand has leaned into fast, efficient serving, inference, with a different architecture and tooling approach than the typical GPU playbook.
So training is we're developing the secret sauce, and inference is we're slapping it on fries at scale. And Groq is basically the fry station that never sleeps.
Why it matters. 1, it suggests Nvidia is serious about performance per dollar in inference, where costs can dominate once you go to production. 2, it's a platform play. If Nvidia can absorb ideas, talent, or IP that makes inference easier or faster, it strengthens the full stack story. Chips, networking, software, and deployment patterns.
Your cloud bill is the villain, and Nvidia is trying to become the superhero who also owns the city. Like, don't worry, I'll save you, and also I am the zoning board.
Actionable takeaways for developers. If you're building AI products, separate your stack into training, fine-tuning, and inference components so you can swap pieces without rewriting everything. Track inference metrics like tokens per second, latency percentiles, and cost per million tokens across providers and hardware. And avoid hard coding to a single vendor's proprietary APIs unless the productivity win is worth the lock-in.
My actionable takeaway is if the company that already runs the gem starts buying up the rival gems, maybe don't sign a 10-year membership with a tattoo clause. Keep your options open and your skin unbranded.
From one power move to another, Huawei is reportedly preparing a new AI chip push in Korea to rival Nvidia and is in talks with potential customers about supply arrangements.
Korea is such a bold venue for that announcement. That's like showing up to a barbecue festival and being like, hello, I brought tofu. It will defeat brisket. Respect the confidence.
What happened? A report says Huawei plans to launch a new AI chip in Korea to rival Nvidia and is discussing possible supply arrangements with customers. Even the in-talks phrasing matters because chips are as much about ecosystem and delivery as they are about specs.
Right, because nobody buys a chip. They buy a whole lifestyle. Drivers, compilers, libraries, support contracts, and one Slack channel where everyone cries together at 2 a.m.
Simple version of the tech, an AI chip is like a factory with specialized assembly lines. GPUs are flexible factories. Alternative accelerators can be more specialized. But the real throughput depends on the whole pipeline, how data moves in, how memory is managed, and whether the software stack can actually feed the hardware fast enough.
So the chip can be a Ferrari, but if your software is a shopping cart with one wobbly wheel, you're still going to arrive late and embarrassed.
Why it matters for normal people. More serious competition can eventually mean more supply and better pricing for AI services, the stuff behind search, translation, photo tools, and customer support bots. But it also increases fragmentation. Different chips, different optimizations, and potentially different compliance constraints depending on where a product is deployed.
Fragmentation is when your app works great on one cloud, and then on another cloud, it's like, I don't know her. Suddenly your chatbot is speaking in error codes and regret.
Actionable takeaways. If you're an engineering lead, invest in portability now. Containerized inference, standardized model formats where possible, and CI that tests performance across backends. If you're a buyer, ask vendors not just what chip, but what's the roadmap for software support, security updates, and availability over 12 to 24 months.
Okay, we did corporate judo and global chip chess. Can we do something for the people? Like the people who have to email their boss from an address that ends in _hotstuff_2008?
Yes. Story 3. Google is reportedly letting some people change their Gmail address based on updated Google account support pages in multiple languages. It appears to be a limited rollout, but it's a big deal because Gmail addresses have historically been basically permanent.
Permanent, like a tattoo, except the tattoo can't receive password reset emails from your bank. I love the idea that Google is like, we found the button, we just didn't want to press it.
Your email address is an identifier that's tied into login, recovery, contacts, and sometimes third-party sign-ins. Changing it isn't just renaming a file. It's more like changing the street address of a busy apartment building while the mail is still arriving.
And half your packages are from subscriptions you forgot you had. So the mailman shows up like, is Free Trial Queen still living here? And you have to pretend your Wi-Fi cut out.
Why it matters. It's privacy and safety. A lot of people have addresses that leak their full name, birth year, or old handles tied to other accounts. Being able to change the address could reduce harassment risk and make it easier to clean up your online identity without abandoning years of email history.
Also, it's career growth. Because nothing says, please promote me, like sending a quarterly forecast from Little Chaos Goblin. Which, to be fair, is how I feel inside.
Actionable steps if you get access. First, turn on two-factor authentication before you change anything. Second, audit your critical accounts, banks, payroll, cloud consoles, app stores, and confirm where email is used for recovery. Third, set up forwarding and update your email on key services in a planned order so you don't lock yourself out mid-migration.
So today's self-improvement plan is secure your accounts, stop letting your email be a liability, and don't marry a single AI vendor just because they brought you tokens on the first date.
Quick recap. Nvidia+Groq and hiring its CEO signals the inference race is heating up inside the biggest platform. Huawei's reported Korea push highlights the global AI chip competition and the importance of software ecosystems. And Gmail address changes, if broadly rolled out, could be a meaningful upgrade for privacy and identity hygiene.
If you learned something, subscribe. If you laughed, also subscribe. And if your Gmail address contains 3 numbers and a regrettable adjective, this is your sign to start planning your escape route.
Thanks for listening to BD Daily Tech News Podcast. Leave a comment with one AI workflow you want to make cheaper in 2026, training, fine-tuning, or inference, and we'll cover practical tactics. See you next episode.